welcome to ECCB Connects. This week we bring you excerpts from the second ECCB Distinguished Alumni Series. Dr. Valda Henry will share with us how to identify and achieve the happiness factor in employee engagements.
Is there a link between the level of happiness experienced and the level of satisfaction reported by employees? Is there a link between happiness and the perception that a company is good? What factors drive happiness and engagement in the workplace, and what are the lessons? And I'll just share with you how I came to this topic. In fact, this is a book I am working on. Oftentimes, I'll be asked, one of the things I would often be asked to do is a voice of the employee survey. So I created a 63-question survey, and I sent it out. And one of the first things that struck me when I first did it with one of the companies, people were reporting that the company was good. There was something like an 80% good, satisfied, good. The company is a good company. Yet when it came, is the company a happy place to work? The results were terrible. Second company, I noticed the phenomenon. Third company, fourth, fifth, I see there's a problem. You come back and they ask you to repeat the survey. 2 years later, in some companies it's annual, some companies every 3 years. And you see very little movement in that. And the places where we saw the movement were places where management, the leadership of the organization, engaged in truly addressing the root cause. In order for us to be engaged, what must we be? We need to be connected. And where is connection coming from? From the heart. Until you can touch someone's heart, you have not yet connected with them. And some people think this is airy-fairy soft stuff. Stuff, who talks about that? But the history is replete with examples. Because at the end of the day, who are we managing? It's not the computers, it's not the buildings, it's not all the fancy technology, it's people. And who are people? They're just like me and you, with their needs, their aspirations. And until we can connect with persons and say to them and show them that we don't only say that we care about you, but we show. As we say, action speaks louder than words. Love is about a feeling. People say about work and love, what does it count? Yes, people must love. Somebody said at the back, I come here happy. I want to know how to come here happy and remain happy. And leave happy. What does that tell you by that little statement? Go underneath. I come here happy because I come here external. But when I get here, the things that happen here, they test my very resolve to remain happy. And I lose that happiness, and I leave here deflated. And then let that feeling happen too often. What happens? They want it, like Laurel, they'll say they want to know how to get here happy, how to stay here happy, and how to leave here happy. Sign of disengagement. And so a person who is truly engaged does not even count the cost. A person who is truly engaged is excited to be here because there's growth, there's learning, and not only learning, I say to be truly happy, you can't be a sponge. You know what's a sponge? All it does is absorb. It takes in everything. It gives back nothing until you do what? You squeeze. And sometimes you have to squeeze real hard. I say to people, you must be like little sieves. You can receive and you give back. So at the place where we are, it's not just to receive and to grow, but we must ensure that others grow along with us. We share our knowledge. I said share so much that you make yourself redundant. Because, you know something? I'll tell you why you're sometimes your own worst enemy. We hog on to information. We hog on to skills. We hog on to know-how. And what happens? Sometimes you are the only person that can do this stuff. Now, if you are the only person who can do the job, why can we promote you? We cannot promote you. Because who will do it? So we have to keep you here and give others the opportunity to grow. Because nobody else can do what you do. Folks, I say to you, your job is to develop somebody else. Truly, there is no indispensable person. All of us are dispensable. Because if any of us drop down there right this moment, we will be replaced. There is no two ways about it. Sometimes we will not even be replaced. What does that say about our job? It wasn't as important as we think it was. Because they may say, not needed anymore. So the truth is, folks, you are not indispensable. Employee engagement truly starts with who? With me. See, Michael Jackson has a song, The Man in the Mirror. So we want the place to be happier. We want it more engaged. We want it to provide us with more opportunities and all of that good stuff. Where does it start? It starts with you, with me. And don't ever think you are too insignificant. Don't ever think that what can I do in my little space, in BMOD, in bank supervision, in research, in governor's office, and maybe those below may be saying those in the government, those in the top floor, they're right next to the key players, the governor, the deputy. These are the head honchos in this place. No, forget that, head honchos. All of us right where we sit, play an important role. All of us. Where is the engine of this ECCB? Where is the engine room? Every vehicle has an engine. The vehicle has many parts, but it has an engine. Without that engine, what happens? We can't move anywhere. What is the engine at ECCB? Communication is the engine that keeps the wheels of an organization going through. It has to flow throughout the organization. So all of us are important, but if we do not communicate well and with each other, what happens? Blockages, bottlenecks, problems in this place. So again, employee engagement, as they say, is looking at what is in the best interest. And it's a little different from employee satisfaction. Employee satisfaction concerns just about me. Am I happy? Am I happy to be at ECCB? Am I a happy person here? The other question is, am I engaged? That I'm prepared to go over and above the call of duty for ECCB. Whether I'm feeling happy today or not. Whether I'm feeling sick today or not. Whether I'm upset with everybody I see in my eyesight or not. Am I able, notwithstanding what's happening within, able to rise above that and give of my best to this organization? That's what employee engagement is about. Going over and above the call of duty, irrespective of who it is. And that's where we sometimes have a little problem with employee engagement. Some leaders are able to get their people to go over and above the call of duty at ease. Some leaders can only get people to give just enough. Why? And only because of their positions. And so we talk about respect. That's a key word also in employee engagement. Do I respect my leader? Do I respect my manager, my supervisor? I say to you, if your people respect you for who you are, not your position, but for you, the individual, you will have no difficulty getting them to go over and above the call of duty for you. Yep. You can call them at 2 in the morning, whether their children are crying, wives making noise, husband upset, they will respond. If persons respect you only because you are the director of banking, you are the senior director of banking supervision, senior director of research, or the governor, only because of the position, you are not going to be able to move them to give you more than what is required. So you see where employee engagement starts? So while yes, it's about our employees and yes, having the right employees, where does it start? It starts at the top. It's the leaders. The leaders are responsible for creating the environment that allows people to thrive. And then we as individuals must take personal responsibility and say, yes, that environment is here. It may not be perfect, but it is enough for me to give of my best. And I think for me, being at ECCB, and I think maybe that's where Gov, you have a lot of work to do, I believe. When I joined ECCB, there was a lot of baby boomers at the time. So there were lots of older people with vast array of experience that you could go for mentorship, for guidance, for advice. Folks, there's nothing that can replace that. All the fancy degrees that we have and so on cannot replace that kind of experience and mentorship that we can get from the older persons. And as in the organization, your top becomes younger, what it means is that your opportunity for that mentorship and that learning from experience drops. And so, in order to build that, you have to truly develop a culture of mentorship and coaching. Not just getting more people to do things, but explaining why. Giving guidance along the way. They may fail, but look for the lesson in the failure. I say to persons, Tata, this Indian company, I cite them often. At the annual employee award ceremony every year, there is an award for the best failed project. And you say, how can there be a best failed project? What is the project that though failed, we got the greatest lessons from? And in an environment like that, what does that do? That encourages people to innovate and to create. Because they know that if they fail, they're not going to be fired on the spot. They're not going to have a big brick on their heads. They're going to say, write me now the lessons you've learned from that failure. And I think that's an attitude and an approach as leaders we need to adopt. When people fail, while yes, we may chastise and punish, we must always look for the lesson. So global research was done, Sherm did that, and what they found was that companies where employees are engaged, they outperform those companies where people are not engaged on the following metrics. So employee growth, 1.5 times, because the employee has to grow because the business is growing. Employee pay, 1.5 times. They're able to pay more. Why? Because they are doing better. Average revenue, 2.1 times more. Average profit, 4.2 times more. Revenue per employee, 2.8 times more. Profit per employee, 4 times. From the Employee Experience Advantage by Jacob Morgan, that report was published this year, March of this year. What Morgan argues is that when organizations make real gains, they are redesigning employee experience. He identifies 3 fronts of experience: cultural, technological, and physical. Again, in his survey, so don't feel too badly, only 6% of the companies surveyed, employees were engaged on all 3 levels. But what they found, in order to really truly outperform, you had to outperform. So persons who were good in the cultural aspect but failed on the technological and the physical, they did not perform as well. So what it speaks to is the overall holistic picture.
You're watching ECCB Connects, protecting our currency, developing our region. To view any episode of ECCB Connects, anytime, any place, at your convenience, check out our YouTube channel, ECCB Connects.
We've come to the end of another episode of ECCB Connects. Join us again next week when we'll bring you part 2 of Dr. Henry's presentation on the happiness factor in employee engagement.